Another Russian regiment apparently has Reequipped with older T-72 tanks. It's further evidence that, despite a heroic effort on the part of Kremlin planners to expand production of more modern tank models, steep losses in Ukraine continue to drag the Russians into the past, technologically speaking. If there's any comfort to be found in the Russian military's tech regression, it's that the Ukrainian military also is struggling to acquire the most modern tanks. A photo from late October that circulated online this week depicts a Russian tanker, reportedly from the 488th Motor Rifle Regiment in eastern Ukraine's Luhansk Oblast, standing with a T-72B. The T-72B is old. It first entered service in 1985, but we've seen T-72Bs in action in Ukraine before, so many, in fact, that the Russians have lost hundreds of them that independent analysts can confirm. What's notable about the 488th T-72Bs is what they must have replaced. The 488th MRR was, until recently, one of at least 4 regiments and brigades that fielded the T-72BA. An upgraded version of the T-72B with an uprated engine and better stabilization for its 125mm smoothbore main gun. The T-72BA once was rare in Russian service. As recently as 2016, Russian media described the 46-ton, 3-person T-72BA as having a trial nature. Russia produced around 700 T-72BA but kept many of them in reserve, or in storage, prior to its wider war on Ukraine. The T-72BA isn't a tank anyone really wanted. It's a modest upgrade of a T-72B that Russian tank maker Uralvagonzavod originally offered as an alternative to the more modern, and much more expensive, T-90 starting in the late 1990s, a period of deep economic turmoil in Russia. The T-72BA was designed as a result of Russia's financial difficulties, which meant the Ministry of Defense could no longer afford to purchase the T-90, the U.S. Army explained. The BA was, in other words, a stopgap. But 25 years later, as Russian tank losses in Ukraine exceed 2,000 and Uralvagonzavod struggles to boost production of new T-72B3s and T-90s, even the stopgap T-72BA are running out. Observers through this summer tallied around 24 lost and captured Russian T-72BA. The actual number surely is much higher. After apparently losing many of its T-72BA, the 488th MRR clearly needed replacement tanks. It's telling that those replacements weren't new T-72B3s or T-90s. They seemingly were T-72Bs, the nearly 40-year-old tanks that Uralvagonzavod once stripped down and refitted in order to produce the T-72BA. The Kremlin had thousands of T-72Bs in storage prior to 2022. The T-72B at least is an improvement over the even older T-72A and T-72 Ural. It has an up-armored turret, improved fire controls and extra stabilization for its main gun. An 840 horsepower diesel engine replaces the older 780 horsepower engine. But the T-72B is a terrible night fighter.